Here's Paul, owner of Oceanammo. All right, Paul, what's the mission here?
The mission's been the same mission as it's been since day one. It's high quality product at blue collar prices, no exceptions. So we have always had the view that the sport needed to be accessible to anyone, and prices are prices, right? We fully support retailers selling their products for the prices that they do. They got to make a living, so do we. However, our model has always been that we thought we could do it better if we went as a manufacturer importer directly to the customer. And I think our customer service reputation exceeds anyone in the industry. You're here on a Saturday. I'm here on a Sunday. You call me, you message me on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock at night, say you need a gun by Monday afternoon. We make it happen, right? So I don't think there's anybody else really going those steps to be able to deliver their brand. I think gone are the days that you can just rely on your name, right? Sure. Because that washes eventually. What you want to be able to do is to be able to provide somebody's vision, right? So everybody has a vision of their favorite spear gun or their favorite product, and it's not necessarily spearfishing, but anything. I wish I had a car that had this engine, but this body. So we took the route that we said, okay, so initially people were saying, could you do your track this color or that color? Originally they were white, okay? We kept it simple. We were starting to get, that occasional request for something different color. So I said, okay, so number one is, can my product, and my product is proprietary and it's a close kept secret, and I get asked daily, can I sell the product to somebody else? Absolutely not, right? So it took me a year to develop this product. It's a living, breathing, organic track. That's what it is. It's the second you put it in salt water, it's alive, okay? It's feeding on algae, it's doing all its thing, it's creating that slime that, reduces that friction coefficient. And the minute you wash it off with fresh water, it's stagnant, right? So it feels dry, still smooth, but it doesn't have that sliminess. So, then it was talking to my chemist friend who helped me develop this, is can we color it? If we add a mica powder color to this formula, is it gonna kill, our attractant? So we did some tests. So the answer was, no, there's nothing you can really do because the track we use is microporous, okay? So within those pores, this thing, all right, lives within this track. Is it harmful to humans? No. Is it harmful to marine life? No. It's actually a natural occurring organic thing, right? So then we started to do colors this, color that, and then we decided to, okay, let's just get every single color there is. And you've seen the rack outside. We have, over 300 different versions of most colors on the spectrum, and then thousands of mixed combinations. So the only thing is, it's when you pour it, it's a one-shot deal, right? Oh, okay. So people say, I want it to swirl this way, and it doesn't. Bad luck, right? So it's going to do what it wants to do. What's different compared with our product to epoxy? Epoxy is great. It has its purposes, but on a spear gun track, it's not great. Okay, and why do I say that? People say, "Well, I said, okay, if you get some sand that's generally in the water, and it gets underneath your shaft, and you've got your shaft sliding over grains of sand, what it does to the epoxy is it makes it pill. So pilling is as you fire the shaft, it's rolling a small grain of sand as it's moving, and that's lifting the surface of the epoxy. So all of those scratches that you generally will see on an epoxy track create friction. Okay. So our product, the more you shoot it, regardless of whether there's sand in there, it's the more it compacts. Okay. And compacts and compacts and compacts, so it becomes almost mirror-like. So the more you shoot our guns, the smoother they are.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. It's a lot of information. I know.
That's awesome. I'm sure a lot of people would like to know, like, Paul, how did you get started in spearfishing? I know it's been a long journey. Just shooting your first fish.
It has. I mean, I started spearfishing when I was 8 years old. Okay, and I did like everybody else. It was a pole spear. Okay, and I was just like hooked the same day. And that progressively over years led to spear guns and spear fishing and traveling and spear fishing. I mean, I've spearfished in, all of the South Pacific, pretty much most places here in the US, spearfished in Europe, off South Africa. And I got to the point in the early 2000s where I had bought one of my competitors' guns, and I don't want to say names because I don't think it's right. So, and I thought, wow, I finally got a wood gun. Let's see what all the hype is about. And I took it out, and I just hated it. All right, I hated it. It felt like I had to wrench the trigger. The shaft was whipping all over the place. I couldn't get a straight shot. And so I remember coming home and putting it on my bench and having a good look at it, right, and saying, what's wrong with this thing? Right? What's wrong with it? What would I do differently? So that led me in 2005 to make my I'm sorry.
It's okay.
To make my my own spear gun. And I made a 130 centimeter 4-band gun. Okay, with the rubber that was available in those days. I think it might have been Primeline rubber. And a trigger mech that I took out of a different gun, but I shaped it myself. And I thought, okay, let's see if my thinking and my theory actually gets me somewhere with this gun. So I went to Tahiti for a trip, took my gun in excess baggage and landed there, and went out on a guy on a panga, and I shot probably the biggest, my personal best yellowfin tuna with that gun, which was 292 pounds. All right. Was I amazed? Yeah, I truly was. Okay, so, and then I thought, it's just probably too hard to be able to replicate this, because where do you start, right? Yeah. Where do you get, where are you going to get all this lumber from? Where are you going to get all these triggers from? Where are you going to get all these handles? Who are you going to buy the rubber from? Because I was a consumer. So I thought, okay, is this like a fluke? So in 2006, and it was my vacation, I went to Fiji and I shot a 262-pound dogtooth tuna with this gun. Oh. And right at the end of my breath, right? So I was down off a drop-off, sitting down there, and in those days, 45, 50 feet, I was young, I could stay down there for as long as I needed to. And this monster just happened to whiz by, and I thought I'll take the shot. Now, in those days in Fiji, it was a polypropylene float line, and 2 boat fenders were the floats. Boat fenders, right? It was. I was just thinking, this fish is gone, but it held. So I went to retrieve it, and I grabbed my knife, and I've got an actual picture of it on me on the surface, putting a knife to brain it. And after I brained it, I sort of let it go because we had already strung it. Dragging it back to the boat, I had 2 tiger sharks, took it apart. Yeah. So I got left with the head. And so the guys were devastated because that's the only... I didn't have a chance to take it back to the beach and take a photo. So I've got this massive, Tyrannosaurus tooth fish with me smiling with a knife going into its brain. And they actually they boiled it and bleached it and made me a mount in that week of this fish, and it got seized by their customs before so it's a great story, but it just proved the point that okay, so my formula on aqua dynamics of a spear gun was working because I was shooting this gun, shaft was going dead straight. The trigger mechanism was still, frictiony. Hermes weren't around at that time. And so then I just put it on ice. Okay?
Okay.
And, it's one of those things that it just keeps, what if I had of, and it just keeps bubbling away in the background. And then, so I thought in 2022, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. Sat down with my wife and I said, you need to come up with a name. And so she is responsible for the name Oceanammo, 100%. So we were going to release it. I had designs already drawn, ready to go, samples ready to go, and COVID happened here. And it just, all those hopes and aspirations just got, shelved yet again. So as soon as we got past that, we decided to move from the East Coast to the West Coast because my wife's originally from San Diego. And I got to work in my garage. And I made one, and one of my friends came over. I said, hey, dude, I just finished making a spear gun. You want to come check it out? He came and checked it. He goes, dude, I'll buy it. How much you want for it? So I said, I don't know. Give me like $300, right? Because he was a friend. So that led to his friend seeing, his friend's friend seeing, and then before I knew it, I was making 10 a month. And I said to Kelly, I go, you know what? I think this is if we can really consolidate Oceanammo into a thing, a brand, a serious brand, we can make this work. So that then it's that domino multiplication effect started happening. And I mean, our early guns were not, what we're doing now, but I like to think that Oceanammo is always an evolving business, and its spear guns are always evolving. And if we come up with something that we think benefits you guys, then we immediately implement it into our production. So, a Reef 100 3 months ago may look slightly different, 4 months later. To your benefit. Do we charge you for it? No, we don't, right? So now we're I think we're a serious contender in the wood gun market. I don't think there's anybody doing or providing the diversity that you can, call me and say, Paul, I want multicolored track, I want red rollers, I want this colored rubber, I want to laser the whole thing in the spaceship panel lines of Star Wars Death Star, right? And people, people would look at you like you're mad. Me, I go, okay, that's a challenge. Let's do it. And so I'll sit there for hours, manipulating my software, because at the end of it, when you get it, I want you to say, wow, right? Yeah. I want you to say, wow. We know it shoots great. We know it's going to shoot great. We know you're going to love it. But image-wise, it's one of the few wood spear guns you'll probably ever own, because I mean, we don't all own 50 of them. I've only ever had maybe, 20 in my time, but never at this sort of level.
Yeah. Could you expand on the customization part? Like you don't charge for extra laser work. Tell us a little bit more about why.
So when you go to oceanammo.com and you go to our store and you buy a spear gun on that store, if you buy it, you generally, from our other production sites, you'll get a white standard closed, enclosed or open track, right? If you then follow up and send an email and say, hey, Paul, or hey, Oceanammo, I want to customize it, then that comes here to me. And we follow up and say, okay, so customizations, what can you do? The track color, whatever you want. Whatever color you want, multiple colors, closed, enclosed or open track, makes no difference, price stays the same. The laser work. Okay, now we can do logos, or we can cover the entire gun. That costs no extra. Okay, because really my laser's working. It's not costing me any money. It's power, yippity-doo, right? Your logos, you send it in a PDF and we'll manipulate that PDF to make it work whichever way you want. Roller colors, track color, rubber color, gun dimensions, right? That's another thing which people say, I know you make a reef 100 and a 110. I really want a 105. No problem. We'll do it. It's always the cost of the shorter gun. Okay? So we don't go to the 110 and say it's the same cost as that. It's the cost of the shorter gun. So that's pretty much encompasses it. I get the same question every time on my laptop. Every time I get a message come through from our website is, does it cost any extra? So I think you now being able to get that word out there is, I push it on Instagram. Every time we do a video of some new gun, I say, and it costs not a penny more.
Yep, and Paul definitely does that.
Follow exactly, Instagram. Right? So, because at the end of the day, it's artwork, right? It's artwork that you take into the ocean to harvest food. We all do it for food. I do it for food. So, why not look awesome doing it? Yeah, I mean, isn't it great to be able to go to the beach with a spear gun? Like when I take mine, I'm sitting there on the esplanade and people go, wow, because they see all this laser work. Yeah, I mean, it's a pride thing. You should. It's your kit, right? You always want the best spear gun, the best wetsuit, the best set of fins, because it's going to make you a better freediver, right? So, we're for the people, man. So, if you think it's impossible to do, we can make it happen.
You heard it from him. You heard it from Paul. Send your challenges his way.
Send your challenges. Send your challenge. We convert conventional muzzlewood guns to rollers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, they become slightly shorter, but you get a roller. Rather than going and spending $459 on my website, you convert your conventional. Do we convert other people's guns? Hell yes. Yeah, I've converted some other brands into our rollers with our roller muzzle kits, and they shoot awesome, like 10 times better than they did before. So we've even swapped out trigger mechs on some of those guns. So whatever it takes for you to have that experience, and for me, dude, like I've had 50 years of this experience. All right, if you can get 10 minutes of what I've felt being in the water in 2,000 feet looking at an endless abyss, it's what life's about, right?
Yeah, totally.
The water the ocean cleanses your soul, is what I've always said. All right, it's what I firmly believe. If you're having a shit day, all right, put your wetsuit on, put your fins on, get your Oceanammo spear going, go down to the shore, get in the water, because I guarantee it, whether you get a fish or you don't, you're gonna feel better.
Sure.
Okay, so
try to be mad in the water.
Exactly. Yeah, take it out on the game you're hunting. So,
can you tell us about like kind of the latest and greatest Oceanammo portfolio and like what's coming down?
So
the pipe?
Most of our cult, as you put it once, which I thought is like hilarious. Most of our followers, which is like really growing on Instagram, which I love, right? So that's what I get. Who does all your marketing? This guy, right?
It's true.
24/7, you see me posting, like people think I'm crazy,
I don't
some
think
mad
Paul sleeps.
professor.
He'll like respond at odd hours of the day.
Yeah,
like...
of course, whatever. You send me a message at 3:00 in the morning, and I hear my Instagram go ding. You'll get a response from me.
You will.
So, what's coming in the pipeline? So every October I do a complete revamp of the this year's models. So generally in October I start to roll out new shapes, modifications, models. I think they're gonna stay pretty much how they are, but I've got some. Some crazy shit coming out in October. I have the first exoskeleton spear gun that you can move side to side and water passes through it. All right? It's from the Terminator, this thing. All right? It's a monocoque 100 centimeter, and then 3 sizes. It'll be 100, 110, 120. You can take the track out from an open track and then drop in an enclosed track. All right? Yeah. It has at the front of the gun for the guys that like to shoot, in low vis with the 100. And unfortunately, we just couldn't make it work in a 90 or 70. It has a pressure pad on the handle for LED lights at the front of the gun. All right, and they're all encased within this monocoque. It looks almost like a wrapped around spider web. Okay, if you can imagine it like that. Hermes mech. The handle is full ergonomic. Okay, it's all a part of the gun. It's all that. You even have the loading pads. Okay, so you can switch from a super soft, right, if you're not wearing a wetsuit, to a firmer one, and they just snap in, right? It has an integrated section that you can unscrew, take out, and then it then exposes the flat for where you can mount a reel. All right, so you undo 4 little stainless steel screws, you take that out, and then your reel will sit inside there. Okay, it has a retractable line anchor at the front. So
when is this coming out?
It's coming out in October.
Okay, you heard it here first.
It's
October.
All black gloss carbon fiber. There's no resistance when you're panning for your shot in the water. None. There's nothing to resist it because the water flows through all of these channels. It's ballasted as well. So the gun is typically in the water column, it's neutral with the shaft on it. Mm-hmm. Once you fire, it'll float. Okay, so all of that tube work that makes up this monocoque is hollow, right? So structurally you can suspend the 120 on 2 blocks and put 700 pounds on it, and it won't bend. So,
wow. Do you have a name for it yet?
No, I don't. So, I don't know. I'm going to talk to the boss lady. She comes up with some crazy names. It's going to revolutionize spearfishing, I think. Right? Yes, you can take the conventional muzzle off and put a roller muzzle there. So it has that function where you can interchange muzzles. Okay, so we built it so that you can use, if you bought this, for instance, that you could use your Mani Sub or Mace or MVD or anything that's got a 26 mil diameter plug on the end of it will fit this gun. So we didn't want to limit it, but does it look awesome? It's like, it looks like an alien made it, right?
That's
so.
Awesome.
I think it's, and is it going to be super expensive? No.
Okay, that was my question.
No, it's not, because it's not who we are, right? So, I think our margin works out once we get these to like 15%.
Right.
Right? But we don't care, because, really, you sell $100,000 worth of these skeletal spear guns and you make 15 grand. You know what? It's fine. It pays the rent for a couple of months. Yeah. It's for us, for Kelly and I, money isn't what's the driver for this company. We couldn't care less, to be honest, dude. So what drives us is, all these pictures and videos that I get bombarded with, these people proud of, that for us is gold.
To be fair, I before our chat here, I asked Paul, like, why don't you increase the prices? And his response was exactly that. Sorry, don't kill me. I'm not trying to make the prices go up. It was a genuine question, because obviously the prices are...
Yeah, the prices, that's one thing that is a great benefit, but also been a deterrent, right? So people say, if it's that cheap, there must be something wrong, or it's a scam, or that was the original in the beginning. All right, but the prices are what they are for this reason. We do not, under any circumstances, sell our product to retailers. It's not like we didn't try, okay? It's not like we didn't try. We gave them an opportunity to do it, okay? And we got snubbed, and some, we'll try it, and really didn't give it a go, and probably used ours to upsell another brand. And, okay, I'm not an idiot, right? So we sell our product to you for wholesale. That's what you buy it for. It's the wholesale price. It'll continue to be the wholesale price. One of my ambassadors, Brett, who was our captain in Arizona, said the same. He goes, Paul, you really could raise your prices. And I said, why? What? Why? Give me a reason to, and I'd consider it. I don't need to compete with anyone. I have this niche all to myself. Okay, I'm in the middle of the low end of brands, entry level product, and the mainstream guys, and I sit right in the middle there, which is what I call is the affordability circle, right? And that's where thousands and thousands of customers are coming, is to that space.
Yeah, I mean, love the mission. I think it's obviously I was able to try mine out in the water first time, and it's really is a piece of work. And
it's when you come from pipe guns and carbon guns, and you come to wood guns, you have some of those pipe gun and carbon gun expectations, but it's a different experience. You have more density, more recoil absorption. And as bulky and big as people seem to think they are coming from those, is they track really well in the water, right? So I think, personally, I'm not a pipe gun guy, right? So never have been. I was in the beginning, but when I discovered the benefit of having a wood spear gun, it way overshot the fancy bling look of the Predator, for instance. I mean, it's a beautiful gun, right? People are, wow,
definitely
all just cap. Like
I love the
blingy-eyed. Yeah, but that's all it is, right? It has a great handle and trigger, the best trigger on the planet. It has what I consider the Mani Sub muzzle, the best I don't care what anyone says, it's the best muzzle on the planet as far as I'm concerned for two things. Number one, smoothness and quality, right? Without a doubt. And I'm certainly not being biased for the whole Aussie thing. But that's all it is. I mean, you said yourself, they're just super light. And if you're trying to chase a fish in some wash out here, for instance, the gun's all over the place. You just cannot, even if you got your hand on the butt, which, like on my guns, you can take my 140 4-band conventional muzzle spear gun and shoot it one-handed, right? One-handed, and it's that slight boom. There's been a million videos on Instagram of my boys shooting them, right? And they've always said to me, you think we can get away with shooting it one hand? Dude, do it. I shoot a 150 one-handed, right? Yeah. I'll stabilize, but then I'll extend and fire it. I'm not scared to do it. Mani-sub rubber eliminates that aggressiveness. So that's why we use it. Now we have our own, all right, which has been a year in the making, this thing. Oh my God, I was just like, the anticipation was, I knew it had landed in the LA and I was waiting to get it because I just knew how good this is the new thing, right? So we created our own spear gun rubber, and it's got to do two things, right? It's got to be able to stretch, and it's got to be able to retract quickly. What didn't we want it to do? We didn't want it to be aggressive. Prime line's like extremely aggressive. Mani-sub rubber is like, we call it a semi-reactive because I don't think it's a true reactive rubber. So what we wanted was, rubber that works for rollers doesn't necessarily always work for conventional and vice versa, right? Because super reactive rubber on rollers gives you some recoil. It does. Anyone tells you it doesn't, they're full of shit, right? So it does. So, but the Mani-sub rubber, you can pull the trigger and the gun hardly moves. It's fantastic stuff. But why have to buy both, right? So what we did is we combined a semi-reactive with a reactive. Okay, and so a certain diameter is the semi-reactive, and then the last outer few dips, because we all know latex rubber's all dipped to achieve size, is done with a reactive rubber. The benefits, loads like Mani-sub, right? Loads like Mani-sub. Fires like Gorilla Bands. It's insane, the speed. The speed and range from changing to those bands is unlike anything I've seen. So we couldn't wait. We did it yellow with a red core because we wanted to identify, because that Gorilla stuff is green with a black or black with green or whatever it was. So we wanted our own nice bright color because we have high vis guys, a lot of high vis guys that use our product. So one of the first set of bands went out on a 130 double roller yesterday with one of our customers. So I said, dude, go shoot it and then get back to me and let me know what you think. I already know what the outcome is. The second that you pull, the second that you pull on it, it feels tight, right? Mm-hmm. But as soon as you get that next few inches, it gives, right? It's insane. It just gives, and then you can pull it back like Mani-sub's the easiest rubber to load, I think, personally. It loads exactly like that, but it fires like a true reactive rubber, and it's just small ID, right? 14 mil and 16 mil we have it. I think for an all-round type of rubber that you could, buy and rig all your guns with, rather than having to buy a progressive. I mean, progressive rubber's for kids and people with shoulder problems, right? I don't. I don't use it on anything, not even on spear guns. I mean, unless you want your spear to go 6 feet, it's too soft. All right, it tends to rip out inserts and things like that, or bang up a lot on bridges, roller bridges, and things like that. It's not that great. So we think that the combination of the two, could it be done? Yeah, I mean, my manufacturer said, yeah, we can do anything. He's a bit like me, right? So where do we get it? We got it made. We had to get it made in Thailand for it to be cost effective, right? So shipment arrived yesterday. We pulled it out, and it's exactly like the sample that took us 7 months to get originally, because it was too hard, then it was too soft, and then you could load it to a certain point and it felt just too tight for a like a 370% stretch, right? And I said, no, you're not getting me. I want to be able to load it, but I want the memory, the retraction to snap, right? Because that velocity and momentum is what sends a shaft out its distance. So eventually they got it right.
That's awesome.
The gun I made that had them on it, that my guy that was testing gun for me said, dude, I have to have this gun. So he did a lot of testing for me, and then we just gave it to him, right? So
that's awesome.
And he's still got those bands this year. He's had them for a year, been using them. He said, I'm changing all my guns to your rubber suit as it lands. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
When
People
is that
will make
available?
their own determined. It's going to be online this weekend.
Okay.
All right, sold by the foot, or we can pre-make band sizes out of it. My distributor, which I do have one distributor in Mexico, he just ordered a ton of it. So that's heading over to him. Great guy. If you're tell your viewers, Oceanammo is now available in Mexico. So the service you get from him is emulated by what we do, and was well aware of it, that he's on it, right? Yeah. So and he will take custom orders there, and we will manufacture them here and ship them to him within 2 days. So wow. Yeah, so that's pretty much the newest thing. The last thing I think is the big thing is the Atlantis watch. So Atlantis left Los Angeles on yesterday, Friday. Finally, after about 3 weeks of sitting in customs with our Japanese and Korean partners trying to work out the whole tariff thing. But they finally got picked up in a truck, and they're heading down by road, and I think we'll have them on Monday. What's Atlantis? Some of you viewers, I know, some of the people that have actually pre-ordered them and paid for them. It's the first AI watch ever. Now, what's different about it? It has no buttons. There's no on and off. Nothing. It's a titanium casing. Comes with 5 different coloured silicon bands. It's voice activated. Now, how's it voice activated if you're underwater? Yeah. Right? You can do sign language and it'll interpret, right? What are the apps on it? Whatever you can think of. So when you get the watch and you register, and the Monday you'll see the registration come up on our website as a separate page, is you click on that and you'll get a one-on-one with an AI-generated person that's going to walk you through on your initialization of your watch. What are the things it can do? You can say, hey, Atlantis, map my next dive and send me a 3D animation to my laptop. And Atlantis will... So there's 4 cameras in the periphery and 1 in the face, right? And as you're diving and you're moving around, this thing is mapping... mapping kelp, the fish that was at the kelp at that point, the rock formation, the sand, If you're swimming and all of a sudden you get a cloud of sand come through, it'll capture it and animate it. And so it will, in your dive, it will show you where you stopped, when you fired your spear gun. If your hand's out the front and you're firing and it gets the picture, it'll take a picture of the fish that you shot, identify it in your animation, okay? And then give you a playback of every dive, your surface time, your bottom time, and the whole 3D environment around you. How's that? All right.
So many questions.
I know, right?
That sounds honestly too good to be true when I'm hearing it.
I guarantee you, it's not too good to be true. It's, you can say, hey, Atlantis, I'm going to dive. When I come out of the water, please text my wife and tell her I'm okay. Something we all want to do, girlfriends, things like that. When you come out of the water, the watch senses that you're no longer submerged. It will use your cell Wi-Fi and send a message, and it'll say, hi, Callie, Paul's finished his dive, he's out of the water, and he's fine, okay? Without you having to prompt to do it. You tell it to do it initially.
This is crazy.
People are asking, are there any fees, subscriptions? Yeah. No. There's no fees, no subscriptions. You use your cell phone to pair to your watch. It uses your Wi-Fi. Everything that's on your watch is cloud stored. There's nothing stored on your watch. It's all cloud. What if you're out of range? If you're out of range, the watch automatically switches to satellite. That's free, right? Samsung, free satellite anywhere on the planet, right? So it's you can load decomp tables for diving. You can say, I've got an emergency call and the Coast Guard, and the watch will ping and give you latitude, longitude within 1 foot constantly. You can say, measure my blood oxygen if you're wearing it on your wrist, and if you're at risk of a blackout, your watch will buzz, flash, and show you a warning, because you can't hear underwater, but you can feel the vibration, right? Mm-hmm. So it'll warn you if your O2 levels are low. These things it can't do. Cannot do a financial transaction. Okay. All right? Cannot do a finance. It doesn't matter how you try. You cannot do Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. You cannot do any financial transactions. It's a security feature. And you cannot say, track Callie. It won't do it. To be able to be paired, you have to have consent from another Atlantis watch. To be able to say, hey, I want to go diving with Charles, see if he's free on Sunday. His Atlantis watch will come up and say, Paul wants to know if you're free Sunday, do you want to dive? Okay, and then you can say, yeah, tell him, yeah, and then boom, and you'll get a message say, yeah, you two, you're all set. Where are you diving? Right? So if you're smart and you say, this is my spearfishing checklist, spear gun, wetsuit, mask, snorkel, dive belt, dive knife, fins, booties, gloves, float line, float, gear bag. You put all those in. Atlantis will say before your dive, hi, Paul, don't forget, have you got your ba-dum, 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 ba-dum? And you can go through it all. Yes, I've got it. And then you'll see it come up with a tick. All right? It's a 4K full dial screen. You can get a sledgehammer and you won't break it, right? It's waterproof to 1,000 feet. It comes with its own charging dock, right? You take the watch off, you put it on the charging dock. It takes 90 minutes to charge. It lasts 9 days.
Okay, that was my question. I was like, that's a
9
lot
days.
Of features.
9 days. Wow. So it has 9 days of battery life. I know, right?
Can't see my face right now, but I'm scratching my head. Questions.
It's
naturally skeptical, not because it's Paul saying it. It just sounds crazy. So sounds great.
One of the benefits of this is it's unlimited applications, right? So it's only limited by what you tell it to do. Okay, so you say I'm running a marathon. I need to get to this waypoint in this amount of time. Let me know if I'm running behind. The watch will tell you, right? There's no having to push buttons or pick apps or anything. It's all verbal. And this is AI technology now, right? Right? The program to run this watch was created in 40 hours. 40 hours by AI itself. How's that for freaking you out, right? Yeah.
Okay. So this is
how much is it going to be?
Yeah.
It's called the Atlantis.
The Atlantis.
Okay. When you go and you register, you can pick a male or female
like avatar or something.
Avatar, and it comes up like a human being, and you can have a conversation. There's no delay in the conversation. If I'm talking to you and I say you having a good day today, and you say yes, it's yes instantly, right? And I'm telling you, I've seen it. You can't tell this is not a human being. All right? So both of them, the female and the male, are really good looking. So for people that want to really have a good look, but it's a pure interaction. So you're going to learn what's your name, what are your likes, what do you dislike, do you spearfish, do you scuba, do you all these things, and it's constantly learning. Right? So if you are in an area where you dove 2 months ago and you're coming up to it, Atlantis is going to say, hey, remember, you dove here. The conditions are low tide, low swell, fish shot in this area recently were, boom, 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 boom. And it'll tell you because it scans the internet posts for that area and provides you that information. All right, so that's how it's the future. All right. Yes, it does tell the time, right? Yeah. So it's unlike anything I've ever seen, and it's people are amazed, but it's AI in this day and age, right? There was a little bit of regulatory stuff that they had to go through, which created a bit of a delay because is it classified, number one, as a phone or a watch? Mm-hmm. There was a whole conversation about the security of AI, and because I know there are regulations with AI, so that they needed to be met, but all that's now been squared away. So they come in a little titanium box.
Very cool.
Multicolored titanium, burnt titanium color. Then comes with a one little sheet titanium thing with your serial number. They're all individual. Can you transfer it one day? Yes. It'll wipe and start over. So.
All right. Well, what a way to.
I know. What a way to bring it home, right?
Jeez. Yeah. Okay. So this is, again, if you didn't know already, this is Paul, owner of Oceanammo, innovator, and his boss, naming aficionado, I guess. But yeah, you know where to, Paul, where can the visitors check you out online, in person?
So if you can't get here to San Marcos, California, you can go to oceanammo.com. You can message me there. If you are in California, feel free to come in and visit us here. We usually sit people right here and go through your whole spec sheet on your expectations of your build. And while they're here, they usually pick up some really, good price gear before they leave. And usually your spear gun, in most best case scenarios, is usually finished within 3 or 4 days. So, yeah, I know it's unheard of, wow. But we've been here 11 o'clock at night some nights getting just one spear gun done, right? So, I don't know anyone else that has that commitment like we do. So your enjoyment is our priority, right? So.
It needs to be a shirt.
Yeah, I should get a t-shirt like that, right?
All right, y'all. That was Paul. You know where to find him. See ya.